If your company is testing AI agents, this is the part that usually gets skipped. Not the model, not the demo, the control layer around execution. This OpenClaw tutorial matters because it shows a full path from prompt to action with policy checks in the middle. That is the real tension right now. Teams want agents that can do useful work, but they also need a way to decide which requests are safe, which ones need a person, and which ones should stop. In this implementation, the interesting move is simple: keep the agent, but wrap it in governance. The system classifies requests by risk, routes some to approval, executes through a gateway, and records traces for later review. That does not solve every enterprise concern, but it does shift the conversation from raw capability to controlled operation, which is where many deployments are heading. The tutorial is not presenting a new model. It is building a managed runtime around an existing agent setup. First, it prepares the environment with Node.js, the OpenClaw CLI, and Python libraries. Then it collects the API keys securely, sets up directories, and creates an OpenClaw configuration file. That config defines agent defaults, model choice, authentication token, workspace, and the HTTP settings for the OpenClaw gateway. The gateway is the key piece because it exposes an OpenAI style API endpoint. So Python can talk to the agent through a familiar interface. After running the Doctor utility to fix compatibility issues, the system starts the gateway and waits for it to initialize. From there, the notebook sends chat requests to V1 at completions, defines a schema for governance decisions, and uses that structure to manage agent calls. So the tutorial is really about infrastructure and policy wiring, not frontier model behavior. The core mechanism is a governance layer placed between the user request and the agent. That layer classifies each request into green, amber, or red based on operational risk. Green means low risk asks can proceed. Amber introduces a simulated human approval step. Red signals higher risk actions that should be restricted or handled differently. The tutorial also defines a trace event structure, which matters because governance without records is hard to trust after the fact. Every important stage hits logged classification, approval outcome, execution, and saved trace data for auditing. This is useful because it turns governance from an idea into a sequence of explicit system events. At the same time, the source is careful about scope. It demonstrates a practical framework, not a complete policy standard. The approval is simulated, and the risk model is rule-based. So this is a workable control pattern, but still an early operating model rather than a finished enterprise governance product. The meaningful part is the architecture choice. OpenClaw is being used as an agent runtime, but the tutorial avoids treating autonomy as the whole story. Instead, it makes the gateway, policy checks, approval flow, and trace logging first-class pieces of the system. That is important because many agent demos still blur the line between a model response and an operational action. Here, that line is explicit. The more limited part is what should not be overstated. The source does not claim a hardened production platform. It does not show deep policy authoring, identity integration, or real organizational approval chains. It also uses example requests on the simulated human review stack, which is fine for a notebook, but not the same as proving resilience in a live environment. So the signal is clear: governance can be codified around agents with familiar APIs. The noise would be pretending this notebook alone settles enterprise trust. Compliance, or safety. The bigger takeaway is that enterprise AI is drifting toward managed execution layers, not just better prompts. This tutorial shows one version of that shift. The agent is behind a gateway. Requests are classified before action. Some tasks need approval. Every step can be recorded for audit. That pattern is becoming more relevant as AI systems move closer to real workflows. It gives teams a way to keep using agent capabilities without accepting a black box operating model. Still, what matters next is how these controls connect to real enterprise systems. Can policies map to business rules? Can approvals plug into existing workflows? Can audit trails satisfy security and compliance teams? The tutorial does not answer all of that, and it does not try to. What it does show is the shape of the stack. Many companies are likely to build agent runtime below, governance layer above, and a constant negotiation between autonomy and oversight in the middle.